So the last part of our little sketching and graphs of trigonometric functions we're going to be looking at is looking at determining rules for them. So we might have a look at this first function. Now the first thing I'd notice is that it starts at the median value, and the median value d is going to be 0 because the median is right in the middle. You can see that the maximum minimum of 4, so the a value, the amplitude, is going to be 4. Now this is regardless of whether it's a sine or a cosine function. It's totally up to you which you decide. It's just going to mean that we're going to need to do a phase shift of some sort to deal with such things. My suggestion is to treat it as a sine function. Why? For it's starting in the middle. Okay, so since I'm saying it's a sine function, let's write down my function. So y equals a sine of b x minus c plus d. And you can see there's a traditional shape starting in the middle, normal sine business. There's no phase shift. So the next value I can eliminate is c equals 0. We're not translating it left or right. It's a traditional shape. The last interesting value is b. And in this case, we can see that the period of the function is pi. So the period equals pi, which is 2 pi over the absolute value of b, because that's how we normally work out our 2 pi, which means I can do a quick swap, c like this, so I can get b is equal to 2 pi over, apologies, and 2 pi over pi is just 2. So I work out that my b value is equal to 2. And so my final function will be that c is equal to 0, d is equal to 0, a is equal to 4, and b is equal to 2. And the best thing to do would be to check it on a calculator. So I'll go through and graph it. Let's look at the second one. Now the second one is a classic cosine shape. Why? It starts at the maximum and goes down to the minimum. The median line is quite easy to read off in this particular graph. It's at 1, so d is equal to 1. To get to the maximum up here would be plussing 2, a equals 2. There's been no reflections, it's a traditional cosine shape, so c is equal to 0, meaning there's no phase shift. But interestingly, what's the period? Period's a bit more interesting. So the period, which is going to determine b, is equal to 6, which is 2 pi over b. Do our swaparoo. b is equal to 2 pi over 6, or pi over 3. And there's our b value. And since it's a cosine function, we're going to get y is equal to 2 cos of pi on 3x, or pi x on 3, plus 1. And once again, you could check this on a calculator. Alrighty, so that's going the opposite way from a graph back into a function. I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.